Ladies, when a man truly feels something for you, you don't always have to wait for the grand gestures or the long speeches. Sometimes all it takes is the way he greets you. That first moment when his eyes land on you, the way his face changes, the tone in his voice. Those are the things that say everything. See, when a man's heart is involved, he doesn't greet you the same way he greets everybody else. It's subtle, it's natural, but it's real, and you'll feel it. He might not even realize he's doing it, but when he does it, you'll know. It's not forced. It's not routine. It's not out of habit. It's a reflex. A man greets the woman he wants with a different kind of energy. He becomes softer without even knowing it. He's more attentive. There's a little extra patience in his voice, a little more light in his smile, because you're not just another face in the room. You're the one his heart has already chosen, even if he hasn't told you yet. Now understand this. Men aren't always good with expressing how they feel. We're taught to be strong, to hold it in, to act like we're unaffected. But when it comes to a woman who touches something deep in a man, all that tough exterior starts to soften. He might not be the type to pour his heart out, but pay attention to how he lights up when he sees you. That reaction, that split second where he forgets everything else and focuses on you, that's real. That's not a show. That's the truth slipping out before he even says a word. When a man greets you and his energy shifts, when he becomes present, attentive, when the world seems to pause for a second, that's not an accident. That's the soul talking, and the soul doesn't lie. He might say something simple like, hey, but the way he says it is different. You can feel it. There's a rhythm to it, a softness, maybe a little tremble of excitement, or maybe he says your name like it means something sacred to him. A man doesn't say your name like that unless you've taken up real estate in his heart. If he calls you by a nickname only he uses, that's his little way of claiming you. He's putting a stamp on the connection, even if he hasn't admitted it out loud. That greeting is his heart's way of saying, you belong with me. If you ever seen a man around his boys and he's all cool, calm, and collected, then you walk in the room and suddenly that coolness turns into nervous excitement or tender attention. That switch right there, that's your sign. He might straighten up, fix his posture, or look like he's trying not to smile too hard, but it's too late. His reaction to seeing you has already told on him. When you greet him and his whole demeanor changes, girl, you've already got him. He doesn't even realize he's exposed himself, and honestly, he doesn't care, because when a man is yours in his heart, he starts showing it in ways he can't even control. It's not just about how he greets you when you look good and you're glowing. It's about how he greets you on your off days too, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when you've been quiet for a while. If his voice still carries concern, if his arms still open for you, if his smile still shows up even when you don't feel like your best self, that's when you know. That's when you know this man ain't going nowhere, because it's not just about your appearance or your presence. It's about you, your spirit, your essence. That's what he's drawn to. That's what's already his. He might not say he loves you every day. He might not even know how to articulate how deeply he feels. But when he sees you and the way he greets you speaks volumes louder than words, that's the moment you need to trust. He greets you with care, with consistency, with that steady warmth that doesn't fade, no matter how much time has passed. That's not game. That's not flirting. That's not routine. That's a man who's already emotionally committed, whether he's labeled it or not. And let's talk about consistency, because that's the quiet love language most women overlook. A man who greets you the same way every single time, with respect, with interest, with affection, That's a man who sees you as his, not his possession, but his person. Someone he's connected to, someone he wants to nurture. A lot of men can charm you once. They can act right for a few days or a few weeks. But the man who keeps showing up, who greets you with that same energy every time, whether the sun's out or everything's going wrong, that's the one who's already all in. It's easy to be blinded by big words and fancy dates. But real love, the kind that lasts, shows up in small ways, like the way he greets you when he sees you and everything softens, when his eyes light up, when he leans in just a little, when his whole spirit seems to lift. Girl, he's not just glad to see you, he needs to see you. You've become his peace, his joy, his emotional home. And he doesn't greet home the same way he greets the world. He comes to you with familiarity, comfort, and warmth. He comes to you like you matter, because you do. Sometimes we look for confirmation in all the wrong places. We want the label, the social media post, the bouquet of flowers, but don't ignore the greeting. That simple moment where his spirit meets yours. That's where the truth lives. That's where his heart tells on him. You don't have to guess. With a man who's already chosen you, just watch how he says your name. Watch how his face changes when he sees you. Watch how his voice becomes softer, more intentional. You'll see it, you'll feel it, because a man can only pretend so long. The heart always finds a way to speak, and sometimes it speaks the loudest in a quiet, "Hey, you." When a man is truly into you, his actions will always speak louder than his words. He might not always say the right thing. He might not always know how to put his feelings into a long message or a romantic speech, but his greeting, that first moment when he sees you, will say it all. That greeting is unfiltered. It's raw. It happens before he has a chance to overthink or rehearse. And that's why it's so real. That moment tells you exactly where you stand in his life. A man who's yours in his heart doesn't greet you like a stranger. He doesn't treat you like an afterthought. He greets you like you're someone he's been waiting for all day. His tone, his expression, his body language, it all shifts when you show up. Because when a man feels something real, he can't help but show it. Sometimes it's not even about what he says. It could be something as simple as the way his face lights up. You walk into a room and suddenly he's standing straighter, smiling wider, looking like the entire energy of his day just shifted. You might think it's a coincidence, but trust me, it's not. That greeting comes from a place deep inside him. It's involuntary. He didn't plan it. He didn't think about it. He just felt it. That's his heart talking. That's what happens when a man sees the woman who's captured his attention and maybe even his soul. He might not be a man of many words, but he's a man of presence. And when you walk into the room, his presence changes. It becomes focused, centered, like everything else fades into the background and you become the only thing that matters. He greets you like he's found peace in your presence. Like the chaos of his world doesn't feel as loud when you're around. That's not a surface level connection. That's something deeper. That's something real. When a man greets you with that kind of energy, you don't need to question whether he's into you. You don't need to chase or prove your worth, because in his mind, you've already proven it. His greeting tells you that he's already given you a space in his heart. Sometimes the people around you can see it before you even notice it yourself. They'll see how he perks up when you arrive, how he watches the door when you're supposed to come through, how his whole energy shifts when your name comes up. That's not something he can fake. That's not a performance. That's a man whose heart is already involved, even if he hasn't said it out loud. And the thing is, he might not even be aware of how obvious it is. But his greeting gives him away every single time. If he greets you with a nickname or something personal that only he uses, that's his way of making the connection feel intimate. He's not just calling you by your name. He's wrapping that greeting in warmth and familiarity. It's a signal that says you're not like everybody else. You mean something different to me. That's how men operate. We show love through actions, through patterns, through consistent little things. And one of the strongest patterns to watch for is how he greets you. Is it with joy, with ease, with excitement? Because if it is, then whether he's admitted it or not, he's already yours. Some men don't even realize how transparent they are when it comes to the woman they truly want. He could be around other people, keeping it cool, playing it low-key, but the moment you walk in, his guard slips. That smile comes out without warning. He might try to play it off, act like it's no big deal, but his eyes, his voice, his posture, they've already told you everything. And if you've got a man who greets you that way every time, not just once or twice, but every single time he sees you, then understand this: you already live in his heart rent-free. When a man isn't serious about you, his greeting is dry, robotic, short. Maybe it's just a wave, maybe a quick hey, without even looking you in the eyes. But when a man is emotionally connected to you, his greeting becomes a ritual. It's thoughtful. It's intentional. He wants you to feel welcomed. He wants you to feel seen, and not just with his words, but with his whole energy. That's how men show care. We may not always have the right words, but we'll show up differently for the one we care about. Think about how he acts when you're not around. Is he the type to check in on you? Does he light up when he sees you after a while? That greeting after time apart is powerful. That's when the truth really shows. Because if he missed you, if he's been thinking about you, it's going to show in the way he greets you. He might hug you a little tighter, hold you a little longer, say your name like he's been saving it in his mouth, waiting to finally let it out. That's love trying to speak, even if he doesn't say the word love just yet. When a man starts greeting you like you're part of his life, not just a visitor, not just a phase, then he's already placed you in his heart. You've become his comfort, his safe space, his joy, and men don't take that lightly. Once a man finds peace in a woman, he doesn't let that go easily. He might not be perfect, he might struggle with expression, but that greeting, that moment when he sees you and his spirit lifts, that's the one thing he can't fake. That's the one place the truth always lives. So the next time he greets you, don't just listen to the words. Watch the eyes. Watch the smile. Feel the energy. That greeting holds more meaning than you realize. And if it feels like home, like warmth, like you matter, you already have his heart, whether he said it yet or not. When a man greets you like you're the only person who, like nothing else matters at that moment, that's not just friendliness. That's emotion. That's interest. That's his heart doing the talking before his mouth even forms the words. Men don't waste energy greeting someone with real care unless there's something pulling at them. If he greets you and his whole presence shifts, if you notice that subtle pause, that breath, that extra beat in his voice, that's not something you should ignore. That's not just him being nice. That's a man giving away a piece of his feelings without even meaning to. And more often than not, it means he's already attached to you in ways he hasn't said yet. You've got to pay attention to how a man behaves in that very first moment he sees you. Before the conversation even starts, before you've said a single word, what does his energy tell you? Does he make eye contact immediately? Does he smile from the heart, not just the mouth? Does he lean in like he wants to be closer? These things aren't just habits. They're emotional reactions. You don't fake light in your eye. You don't fake the way your heart speeds up when you see someone you care about. And men, even the ones who act tough and composed, give themselves away in that greeting. When a man sees you and his body relaxes, when it's like all the tension he's been carrying just melts, you've become his calm. That greeting is more than a moment. It's a reflection of his comfort and connection with you. Even if he's been having a rough day, pay attention to whether his face changes when he sees you. Does the stress drop off? Does his expression soften like he just found a moment of peace in the chaos? That's a man who's emotionally tied to you. Whether he's admitted it to himself or not, his greeting tells the truth. He's already developed something deeper. And it might not be dramatic. It might be quiet, consistent, even casual. But it's filled with meaning if you know what to look for. It's not about what he says, but how he says it, the tone, the ease, the way he looks at you like you matter, like he's been waiting to see you, like you're the highlight of his day. There's something powerful in the way a man greets the woman he truly values. He may not be saying, I miss you, but when he lights up at your presence, that's exactly what his soul is expressing. That warmth, that comfort, that low-key joy he gets when you show up. It's not something he does for everybody. That's a reserved reaction. That's special. That's personal. He might try to act nonchalant, but when a man is emotionally drawn to you, he can't help but show it in the most basic moment. That greeting becomes his signature way of saying, you matter to me more than I'm ready to say out loud. He may greet other people politely, even kindly, but it won't have the same energy. You'll know the difference when it's genuine, when it's real, when it's emotionally charged. With you, there's eye contact that lingers a little longer, a smile that isn't rushed. Maybe he says your name softly, or there's a little pride in his voice like he's just happy to be talking to you. And that's the key. He's happy. That greeting isn't coming from obligation or habit. It's coming from joy. You bring a kind of joy he doesn't even realize he needed until you walked in. That's the kind of impact that can't be ignored. That's the kind of connection that speaks louder than any romantic line. Some men don't know how to articulate their feelings clearly, but they'll show them in small ways, and that first hello is one of the clearest signs. If he reaches out for a hug and it lingers just a second longer than necessary, if he touches your arm, your hand, your back, it's all part of how his body is reacting to your presence. He wants to be close. That greeting becomes a ritual for him. He doesn't just say hi, he connects every time, whether it's a look, a touch, a smile, or a phrase only he uses with you. It's his way of saying, you're mine, even if no relationship has been defined yet. Because emotionally, he's already claimed you in his heart. And it's not just about physical cues, it's about consistency. If every time he sees you, you get that same energy, that same attention, that same subtle joy, then believe me, you already hold a special place in his life. A man might be inconsistent with a fling. He might send mixed signals to someone he's unsure about. But when it's real, when you've got his attention for the right reasons, his greeting doesn't change, it grows, it deepens. He gets more comfortable, more open, more present. And if he's showing up with that kind of energy every time he greets you, he's not thinking of you as just someone passing through. You've become important to him, even if he hasn't said the words out loud yet. Think about it like this. When a man greets someone he loves, he can't hide the shift in his spirit. His voice may soften, his defenses may lower, his attention sharpens. You become the center of his focus, even if only for a moment. He might make little jokes, compliment you in a way that feels personal, or simply say your name like it's his favorite sound. These aren't just habits. These are emotional breadcrumbs that lead straight to his heart. And once you start noticing them, You realize that this man isn't undecided. He may not have declared his love, but he's already showing it right there in every hello. So if you're questioning how he feels, stop overanalyzing his text or reading between the lines of what he says. Watch how he greets you. Watch how his energy rises when you enter a room. That's not casual. That's not random. That's his heart stepping forward before his words do. That greeting, that one simple moment, might be telling you everything you need to know. Because when a man greets you like that, he's already yours. There's something powerful about the way a man greets a woman he truly wants. It's subtle, almost quiet, but if you pay attention, you'll catch it. When a man is emotionally invested in you, his greeting changes in ways he doesn't even realize. He's not just saying hello out of politeness. He's not giving you the same treatment he gives everyone else. There's a shift in his tone, in his body, in his eye. It's like you bring something out of him without even trying. You walk in and suddenly he looks more alive. There's warmth in his face, maybe a slight grin that he wasn't wearing before. That's not coincidence. That's a man giving away his feelings before his mouth can even form the word. He might not be the kind of man who talks much about emotions. He might be guarded, careful, even quiet when it comes to how he feels. But when he greets you, all that armor slips off for just a second. He softens. He becomes more open, more available. Because in that moment, it's not about logic, it's about instinct. You show up, and something in him responds. It's not rehearsed, and it's not planned. It just happens. And that's the most honest part of him you'll ever see. That greeting is his truth, whether he's ready to admit it or not. Sometimes it's in his voice. Maybe his tone drops a little lower when he sees you, or maybe it lifts with excitement. Maybe he says your name differently than anyone else does. Maybe there's just a little extra motion packed into a simple hey. That's not by accident. That's how affection leaks through, even when a man is trying to keep it cool. You might think it's just part of his personality, but listen to how he greets others. Then listen to how he greets you. The difference might be quiet, but it's undeniable because for you, he shows up differently. Sometimes it's in his eyes, the way he looks at you when you enter a room. He sees you, not just your appearance, but you, your presence, your energy. He picks up on how you're feeling, and you can see that awareness in his eyes. It's a kind of attentiveness that doesn't come from being polite. It comes from caring. A man who greets you with that kind of attention has already put you in a different category. You're not just someone he knows, you're someone he sees. That difference matters. And maybe it's the way he makes you feel during that greeting. It's not just about what he's doing. It's about how you feel when he does it. Do you feel safe? Do you feel calm? Do you feel like someone values your presence without needing anything from you? That kind of greeting speaks volumes. Because a man who truly values you doesn't just greet you to be friendly. He greets you like he's relieved to see you. Like you being there somehow makes his world better, lighter, more manageable. Some men don't realize they're doing it. They don't notice how their face lights up or how they immediately adjust their body to face you more directly. They don't notice the way their voice softens or how they instinctively offer a